Dalit Women Talk Differently. By Gopal Guru. Gopal Guru. Gopal Guru, Indian political scientist. Editor of the journal Economic and Political Weekly. Retired professor in political science, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Visiting professor at Columbia University, Oxford University, and University of Pennsylvania. Taught at University of Delhi and University of Pune. Author of Dalit Discourse, Women, Politics, and Philosophy. Received Malcolm Addis Shia Award for Distinguished Contribution to Development Studies. Dalit Women Talk Differently. Published in the Economic and Political Weekly. Criticises the patriarchal practices of Dalit politics. Asserts the autonomous Dalit women's organizations. Indicates a Dalit feminist standpoint. Summary. Issues of women became a global public agenda and were shaped by the forces of particular country. In India, women's movements were characterized by autonomous feminist group affiliated to political formation. The autonomous assertion of Dalit women was first expressed in the formation of National Federation of Dalit Women at Delhi on August 11. The prior conferences at Bangalore, Delhi, and Pune expected the representation of Dalit women in Beijing Conference. The issue was presented on the discourse of Dalit women. Dalit women justifies the talking of differently on the basis of external and internal factors. The external factor is the non-Dalit representing the Dalit. The internal factor is the patriarchal domination within the Dalit. Feminists seek to identify the need of Dalit women to talk differently. Gail Omvid observes that Dalit women talk differently as they are betrayal of promises by the left. Rajni Kothari states that as the democratic order and equity was declined, a series of movements raised a phenomenon of talking differently with a discourse of dissent. The external factors does not provide access to the complex reality of Dalit women. The caste factor has made them to suffer sexual violence, which was indicated by the urbanist women activists. Dalit women appreciate the activist, but at times they too were subordinates to the dominant voice in the society. The Shetkari Sanghatana in Maharastra was blamed for the as they or not raising their voice for the Dalit women even in the issue of minimum wages. Dalit women are blamed for not having any ecological understanding as they have uprooted the saplings planted by the Social Forestry Department. They done that in order to acquire land which were controlled by the village landlords. The upper class and upper caste women practiced class discrimination to the Dalit women in the rural areas. This resulted in the violence between the Shiv Sena women and the Dalit women in Sawali village of Chandrapur in 1998. These issues made the non-Dalit women to speak on behalf of Dalit women. As this representation is against the Dalit background, they protested against the guest representation. The feminist theory presented by the non-Dalit is inappropriate. It is reflected in the papers presented by the Dalit women at the Maharastra Dalit Women's Conference held at Pune in May 1995. The concept of Dalit is defined in terms of caste. Even the Dalit leaders were suppressed during the post-Ambedkar period, and this too was represented by Dalit women. Not only in politics but also in the cultural field, Dalit women were excluded. Dalit male writers do not take a serious note of literary output of Dalit women. The whole situation compels the Dalit women to talk differently. This can be solved by considering the following steps. The independent assertion of Dalit women must be viewed as a positive emancipatory potential. Autonomous mobilization of Dalit women must be understood from an epistemological standpoint. The phenomenon of talking differently foregrounds the identity of Dalit women. For more videos, like, share, subscribe. Thank you.